Welcome to episode 24 of Becoming MindStrong, and today we're talking all things artificial sweeteners. This is a question I get asked all the time on social media. Is it okay to use artificial sweeteners when I'm trying to hit my weight loss goals? Check it out. Welcome to Becoming MindStrong, the official podcast of MindStrong Fitness. My name is Rachel. I'm the owner and head coach of MindStrong Fitness, and I am here to teach you truth. No more bullshit, no more point systems, no more shakes, no more wraps. This is math and science, and we're going to learn how to do it together. Ready? Let's rock and roll. So before we dive into today's conversation, I want to refer back to a couple episodes from season 1. In season 1, there was an episode where we talked about the difference between quote unquote good foods and quote unquote bad foods. And the big takeaway from that conversation is that the labels we really need to start using are not good and bad, but nutritious and less nutritious, right? And we had this conversation again in the episode about the Whole30 diet, that there is a difference between eating for weight loss and eating nutritiously. And the example I always like to give is this. If you figured out your personal nutrition plan and you saw that for you personally to lose weight, you had to eat 1,400 calories a day. I'm just picking an arbitrary number. Your number is 1,400 calories a day. In theory, you could lose weight. You could eat 1,400 calories a day worth of pizza and still lose weight. The problem is your body would shut down. You would get terribly sick because pizza does not contain a lot of vitamins and minerals, a lot of what we call micronutrients. So we might be eating for weight loss, but that is not the same as eating nutritiously. And we need to remind ourselves of that conversation as we start this conversation about artificial sweeteners, because the answer is very much the same. Most artificial sweeteners, if you turn them over, if you look at the nutrition label on the back, most of them are going to be straight zeros. 0 grams of carbs, 0 grams of fat, 0 grams of protein, 0 calories. And if you've tracked macros before, if you've counted calories before, you know that if it's straight zeros, you don't really have to track it. You don't even have to put it into your app because it's not adding anything. It's all zeros, and 0 plus 0 is 0. So when it comes to weight loss, can you use artificial sweeteners? Absolutely. And if it's all zeros, you don't have to track them. And if there are 5 calories in that pack of sweetener, then you track it like anything else and you can absolutely lose weight. But the conversation that we really need to have around artificial sweeteners is, are they healthy for you? And this answer gets a bit more in depth. There's the surface level answer, but then there's kind of the take the good with the bad, and that's where we're headed. So let's start from the basics. Anytime food is processed, anytime there's artificial ingredients, it's probably not the most nutritious thing for our bodies, right? Our bodies are designed to process whole, natural, unprocessed foods. In their purest state, that's the best thing we can be fueling our body with, right? And if we go back to the conversation about the Whole30 diet, we talked about exactly this. It's great. It is healthy. It's fantastic for our bodies. But it's not a weight loss technique, because weight loss means eating less calories a day than you burn. Nutritious eating means eating whole, unprocessed foods. So as a general rule, the more we can eat whole, natural, unprocessed foods, the better it's going to be for our body. Now, the vast majority of us are not living in a forest eating nothing but berries and nuts and eating food in its purest state, right? We are eating some form of processed food, whether it's frozen veggie burgers or hot dogs. There's different levels of how processed our food is, but the reality is that the world that we live in right now processes foods, adds ingredients, adds artificial flavors and sweeteners. If you've ever used protein powder before, right, you know that it comes in delicious mint chocolate chip flavoring. Mint chocolate chip is not a flavor naturally found in the universe, so somebody artificially processed this flavor. Is it going to give you protein? Absolutely. Are there artificial ingredients that are not that great for our bodies? Absolutely. So we need to understand that when we're using any kind of artificial sweetener, and there's a million out there, we have to understand that yes, we can incorporate them when it comes to weight loss, because weight loss is calories in versus calories out. But as a general rule, it's not the healthiest choice simply because it's artificial, it's processed. Anytime that you can choose a more natural sweetener, I'm a huge fan of raw honey. Raw honey is a fantastic way to add some sweetness to your food without a lot of artificial ingredients. Honey is sugar. It's a carb. You would track it just like you would any other food with carbs in it. But it's just a little less processed and artificial than a packet of fake sugar. Now, we need to take a step back for a second. And I'm going to use a very extreme analogy, so bear with me. The point of this analogy is not to compare one to the other exactly, but it's for the general view of what we're trying to get at here. When somebody goes to rehab to quit drugs, let's say that they were addicted to crack. We'll make it a pretty severe drug. They were addicted to crack, so they go to rehab. A lot of times in rehab, people start smoking cigarettes, right? Because they were trying to break an addiction. They need something. They need an oral fixation. They need some way to get their stress out, so they smoke cigarettes. Now, you and I both know that cigarettes are not the healthiest thing for you, right? It would be better if that person was not smoking cigarettes. However, given the choice of crack or cigarettes, clearly cigarettes is a pretty good stepping stone. It's a stepping stone to getting clean. And if you have to choose between one or the other, we're all going to choose cigarettes over crack. Eventually, the next step would hopefully be to get off the cigarettes and clean out your body and start living a healthier lifestyle. But it's a stepping stone. Now, the reason I make such an extreme analogy is obviously I'm not comparing artificial sweeteners to crack. Please don't take me the wrong way. Please don't blow this up with comments saying I can't believe Rachel just compared artificial sweeteners to crack. That was not the point of that analogy. But the point is this. A lot of us, when we're starting our health and fitness journey, a lot of us struggle with increasing our water intake. Most of us are just in the habit of not drinking enough water. Some of us just flat out hate the taste of water. I've heard this from a lot of people. They just simply do not enjoy drinking water. So this is where the artificial sweetener conversation comes up quite a bit. Nowadays, you can buy flavored drops. You can make water taste like anything. So a lot of times I will get asked, is it okay to add these artificial sweeteners to water if it encourages me to drink more? Now, this is where we go back to our analogy. The ideal would be just drink water. Don't add anything to it, just drink water. But that's like saying to someone, again, in an extreme version, like just don't do crack. Those blanket statements don't really work. We need a stepping stone. We need a bridge. So for you, if it's a matter of not giving your body the hydration it needs, because water is one of the most important things we can be giving our body. So if our choices are not getting enough water or adding some artificial flavoring for the time being until we develop the habit, then go for it. Then add the artificial flavoring if that's what it's going to take for now. Doesn't mean it's going to be forever. And it doesn't mean it's your only choice, right? There's lots of ways we can flavor water. We can add some mint to it. We can add some lemon to it. Those are things you can go out into your garden and pick and just throw into your water. So there's ways to flavor it without it. And it's also sometimes just a great bridge to get from where we are to where we want to be. Now, you've heard the expression a million times, everything in moderation, right? The big takeaway from this is that there's no right or wrong. I am not going to sit here and tell you never eat artificial ingredients, never eat processed food. That's just not reality for most of us. But what I will tell you is that let's not try to make it every meal of every day, right? If you're adding flavored drops to your water, maybe you do it a few times a day. And while you're doing that, simultaneously, you are trying to train your body to drink a plain glass of water now and then. And we start mixing this in and weaning ourselves off. Just like, again, for my horrible analogy, that addict might start cutting back on cigarettes at some point. It doesn't mean that we need to jump in all or nothing. You've heard me talk about this endlessly. It is not all or nothing. It's about baby steps. It's about momentum. So for you, if adding artificial ingredients to your water helps you to just start drinking more water, then do it. And don't worry about when am I going to wean myself off of it. Just do it for now and get in the habit of drinking more water. Over time, you can start taking the steps to reduce it. When it comes to food, if you're talking about something like oatmeal and you want to spruce up your oatmeal, then yeah, once in a while, it's not going to hurt you to use artificial sweeteners. But maybe with time, you start experimenting. Maybe you put some nut butter in. Maybe you put some honey in. The point of this is there's two answers. One, when it comes to weight loss, artificial sweeteners are not going to hurt your progress. If there's calories, you track them just like everything else because weight loss is calories in versus calories out. The real discussion here is, are they healthy? And the answer is they're not the healthiest. They're processed, they're artificial. Does that mean we never eat them? No. But it means that we're conscious of the fact that it's not the healthiest choice for our body, and that's okay. We eat them once in a while. We choose healthier options now and then. We can take steps to wean ourselves off of it down the road. But as always, this is not about a major life overhaul. This is not about doing everything quote unquote perfectly, because perfect doesn't exist. It's about getting educated, making smarter choices, and keeping the process going. I am so excited to get my book out to you. It's called Becoming MindStrong, The Truth About Health, Fitness, and the Bullshit That's Holding You Back. And it's available on Amazon now. Go grab a copy and let me know what you think.